Good morning. A true day off for me yesterday. But these would be the matches that would have caught my attention. Were I trading Premier League 2? Look for goals. It's as simple as that. Watch out as well for Desmond Tutu's. All of them came in yesterday, apart from Ferencvaros. 2-2 here, ending. In-play stats will help you determine which of these 2-2s is worth laying the draw in. Angers and Lyon. This is a carbon copy of what Angers did to Paris Saint-Germain, 0-0 at half-time and then concede a single goal second half. They could be a force to be reckoned with, Angers, if they can just tidy that defence. If they're making the big boys struggle to score a single goal, then they could be something to look at, particularly if they could start scoring goals. So that lay the draw there. Nancy and Red Star, I would have looked at taking on that Nancy 0-0 at some point, particularly with the red card. Ferencvaros and DVTK, somehow I would have looked at getting that 0-2 and 1-2 lead for DVTK against 1.2 home favourites Ferencvaros. Cork City and Shamrock Rovers lay the draw second half in the hope the Shamrock Rovers score first, which they did, then cash out because that would have been a loss had you held on. St Pat's and Galway, quite simple, lay of Galway, 0-1 up. Red card wasn't involved at the time. St Pat's in very good form, and very good defensively since they've got rid of that European hoodoo, which is really not their form and their goal scoring. But they're back up and at it. That was a standout, as well as the St Johnstone one. That's an absolute standout yesterday. Why would you have chosen this one with Dunfermline leading? Because St Johnstone are newly relegated from the SPL and are playing at home and are odds on. Why would I have taken on this 1-1 Real Betis and Sociedad? Well, you just look at Betis's form this season. Just not getting the wins, and they are meant to be a strong home side. This was emphatic, nowhere near what the market expected from FC Twente, but they are one of the big boys, PSV, Ajax. They're just not quite on those levels, but just below in a kind of Utrecht mould. But that was certainly an eye-catcher. And in the Irish First Division, all Desmond 2-2s ending. How about that? So if you were a Desmond 2-2 fan, laying those 2-2s or laying the draw as late as possible would have yielded some excellent results yesterday. All bar one, the Ferencvaros one, going in. Looking onto today. And Austrian Bundesliga, what I would tend to do is just to look at the odds on favourites first. They're going to go into the My Games facility for me to look at during my live stream this afternoon. So they go into the My Games and they'll all be ready and waiting. I will be alerted using Soccer 24 whenever a goal has come in. Now, in a match like this, I've got this great piece of kit now, which will actually do very detailed research on obscure matches like this, which I wouldn't want to be getting involved with, Austria Vienna and Reed. So let me show you the research for this particular match. So I'm very impressed with this bit of kit. I'm going to keep enhancing it, and I like the in-play mode as well. What this in-play mode will do, let's say it's 0-0 after 48 minutes, 0-0 after 60 minutes. You can input that and it will come up with an idea of what to suggest. It did it in the Barcelona match against Newcastle. In play 0-0 after 16 minutes. It gave us an over 2.5 goal trade. So that was pretty good. Well, the important thing to note here, and I think it will come up in the keynotes at the bottom here, will be a new manager. I think they are important. That has been mentioned at the top here. Newly promoted, not new manager. Newly promoted. So that's automatically a match of interest this evening. With the idea of taking on the newly promoted side. So all I need really from this analysis is that key bit of information. That makes that a trading candidate this evening. The XG I've asked AI to include as well. Just gives you some idea. That's quite interesting, isn't it? A better expected goals ratio than the home favourite. but very tight defensively. Austria Vienna might not be conceding that second goal. Problem with the read is it looks a bit like it's heading towards 2-2, doesn't it? With these XGs. So be careful with that. Key players I love, because if the player's not playing or if the player is injured early on in the match, that could change the complexion of the match. Strengths and weaknesses, head-to-head analysis, and the key trends. This is brilliant. I'm really liking this. I'm not sure on the insights, but at least what you get with the insights is the reasoning. So if you agree and you like the argument, that could be your trading angle in this particular match. If you agree, again, like the argument, half-time result draw, and SV Read plus 0.75 in the Asian handicaps. I've been looking at the Asian handicap market. It is actually live, but suffering from a lack of market forces, which is a pity, because it's something I think we can exploit if we can cover those 2-0s. So I'll be doing Elite League match reports like that for members today. But you can see the usefulness of this bit of kit. Just having it in the background during my live stream, I can immediately take a look through an obscure match or a match I'm not too interested in researching. Leuven and La Louvière, watch out, this is a newly promoted La Louvière, so automatically I would be looking at potentially trading this match today. Charleroi and Varagem, just the fact they're odds-on favourite, and Anderlecht ditto. So all odds-on favourites in the Julep League would get my interest today. Chinese Super League, 12 or 12.35. Zhejiang Professional and Shandong Taishan, odds-on favourites away from home. Yet again, why don't I put one of these through my ringer and see what it comes up with? So while I await the research, it does take a while. Let's stroll through some other matches of potential interest today. In these lesser leagues, that's too much of a derby for me. I wouldn't necessarily be playing Hajduk Split, Dinamo Zagreb today. Too much of a derby style match. Midland, yes. One of my old reliables. I'll certainly be following them at 5 o'clock today. And in the Chance League, this is too much of a derby. Sparta Prague and Poulsen. Too much of a derby style match to interest me. Sigma Olomouc, very short price favourite at home. Automatically get an interest. Premier League today, there are 4 derbies today, or derby style matches. So it does make for a very difficult to read coupon pre-match. This is all about in-play stats. West Ham, Crystal Palace, London derby. Liverpool and Everton, Mersey derby. Fulham and Brentford, London derby. Man United, Chelsea, derby style match. 2 really high quality sides. Not high quality side, but your top 6s, or as used to be. Man United is bottom 6 now, but that's another story. So it's very, very difficult to read. This market is very strange. But notably, Manchester United have been posting good XG results, i.e. they have been creating good chances, but they've not had that Ruud van Nistelrooy to really kill teams. So watch out for these derby matches. I'll be very cautious with all of those 4 today. Brighton and Tottenham. This is all about how Thomas Frank copes with Premier League, Champions League, Premier League, or international break, Premier League, Champions League, Premier League. Can he handle it? Not quite what Brentford were doing, was it? But I've liked what I've seen from Tottenham. They are living on their clean sheets. So it's interesting to see Brighton as favourite today. Burnley and Nottingham Forest. It's all about Ange Postecoglou, new manager. So it's very, very difficult match to read indeed. Were this Nuno Espirito Santo, he would not let Burnley get a look in with that defensive play of his. So it's gung-ho with Ange. You just don't know. That makes that match difficult to trade as well, or read. Wolves and Leeds, look at that, 2.7 the favourite. So the Premier League is not an appealing trading vehicle today unless anything lights up in the in-play stats. Don't forget your 90-minute boys. I gave you that the other day in the Champions League. I gave you the specific times to get involved at 89th and 90th minute. English Championship, English League 1 and English League 2. It'll be a primary focus for me on the odds-on favourites. But again, I've got my AI and I can research. So let's have a look at the Chinese match. And this is the joys of AI. You can see I can't release the app just yet. there are still one or two errors that pop up. But thankfully, I did a whole load of matches yesterday. Have to wait to see if I can do Zhejiang Professional a bit later on. This looks a fascinating match today, Leicester and Coventry. You can see both teams to score here, couldn't you? The market is finding it very difficult to split these two. This is a must-win really for Leicester City and Coventry, because these two will likely be vying for those playoff places. You want to be taking points off your nearest rivals there. Sheffield United at home, well, I have seen better odds-on favourites than that, going nowhere near them, unless the in-play stats are emphatic. English League One and English League Two, it's all about the odds-on favourites for me there as well. It's a difficult league to trust, which makes it a difficult league to trade. But if you're going with the market expectations and these teams are performing like market favourites, then off we go. So that's how I'll be trading these two leagues today, unless, of course, any red cards change the complexion of the match. MK Dons, usual odds on. Gillingham, Notts County, Walsall odds on at home. Ready preference for the odds on favourites at home as well. French League, difficult coupon. 2.4 the favourite, 2.4 the favourite. So just note that if the market can't pick a winner pre-match, you're going to have to default to the in-play stats. Okay, that will determine who's the best on the day. The market's saying this is going to be a very even Stevens match, so you'd better be going in-play stats. Saint-Etienne, newly relegated and at home, will get my interest at 7 o'clock this evening. I might stay up especially for that one. Bundesliga is an over 2.5 goal league, unless you're Mönchengladbach, but they're not scoring and they're not playing today. Again, we start off with a 2.6, the favourite match, extremely difficult to unpack. Hamburg in front of their 50, 60,000 support, newly promoted, but meeting a fellow potential bottom half side as well. Bayern Munich in the Hof, we're highly likely to see goal before half time. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals. So watch out for the both teams to score element as well, particularly if it's 1-0 late on. Post-Champions League, Bayern Munich shouldn't really be affected. Werder Bremen and Freiburg would be looking for goals before half time for Werder Bremen. That's their usual route in. Leipzig are playing Köln, and due deference to newly promoted Köln, that Leipzig are not very, very strong odds-on favourites. They've actually drifted. So I might do some research on that one, see if there's any injuries for Leipzig. Greek Super League odds-on favourites have tended to be very reliable, so I would be keen, particularly with PAOK Thessaloniki at home today at 1.17. Brings with it its own expectations. Longford and Dundalk follow the market here. Dundalk relegated, I think, from the Premier Division, hopefully going back up. Odds-on favourites again, Maccabi Tel Aviv. There are going to be problems in Europe for Maccabi Tel Aviv on their travels. The protests. So watch out for that midweek in Europe. I think they're playing Villa, aren't they? They would be the standout for me at home. I'm not sure about these other odds-on favourites. It's all about in-play stats, and whether you want to play or not, it can be an illiquid league, particularly when you've got better quality leagues on the same day. Bologna and Genoa odds-on favourites. Juventus are absolutely chock full of goals and buzzing from that 4-4 and that 2-4 come from behind in the 85th plus minute against Dortmund. Post Champions League fatigue away from home might catch them out. Ditto AC Milan, but they are absolutely full of goals, and if that can continue, Juventus will be replying to any goal conceded. Really good, the old lady this season. The Eredivisie. I've done full research for members, by the way. If you want a statistical outlook and over 2.5 goals, both teams to score, etc., then it's all there. And again, I've done these quality analysis as well. So let's have a look, have a break, and have a look at the Leipzig analysis with particular emphasis on injury. Leipzig still finding their rhythm under a new manager and dealing with key injuries. So already we've got 2 possible Achilles heels. Tactics, well, don't really need that. Expected goal ratio is very similar, edging towards 2 goals a game, but Leipzig are conceding as well. So that in itself, if I'm reading this correctly, it tells you we could see both teams scoring today, couldn't we? Köln are getting towards keeping sides to a single goal or a clean sheet with 1.35 expected goals against. That's pretty decent. Head-to-heads, well, it was emphatic for Leipzig in 2024 and 2023. So, as you know, Köln have been in the Bundesliga as far. Leipzig is grappling with significant injuries to key players like Antonio Nusa, Javier Schlager, which could impact the midfield and attack. So that's what I love about this research, is these little nuggets about injuries. It's not something I can find myself without making taking a lot of time in doing so. So that is a potential injury concern in that match. Leipzig. Eredivisie, you're already going to be focusing on goals. Groningen, none of the big boys out today. Utrecht, I would keep an eye on against Fortuna Sittard, just nudging evens. NAC Breda against Heracles. Heracles seem to be your go-to. We'll take 3 points off you. Thank you very much, team, this season. Elite Serien, we don't have to go this far down unless it's an elite side like Bodo Glimt or Fred, odds-on favourite at home. In Portugal, Benfica, coming off the back of that ridiculous loss to Qarabag. They'll be out to take AFS, who sound like they're newly promoted. Guimarães against Braga. This is more like a derby-style match for me. No wonder Braga are a little cautious. SPL, it's becoming a laughing stock now for Celtic and Rangers, but they're not playing today. And in La Liga, we've got 3 odds-on favourites at home. The Yellow Submarine looking pretty good against Osasuna. Coming off the back of a Champions League match midweek, ditto Real Madrid against Espanyol. And Girona Levante, I'll keep an eye on whether Girona perform like odds-on favourites. So I'll be seeing you for a live stream today at about 2:30 p.m. I'll be bringing my old friend along with me so that we can research and try out this in-play mode as well. See what it comes up with. Because all I need is one bit of kit like this. It does a hell of a lot of heavy lifting, doesn't it? And if its results are accurate, then all the better. As I say, if you're taken by that reasoning, then use this as your template for the match. So have a great day today. It's going to be a busy day. I want to keep the profits going, but I am mindful that last Friday and last Saturday were actual losing days for me. So you can get over trading on a Saturday. Notably, last Saturday and Sunday's sessions would have been a lot more profitable had we stuck only to the English Premier League, French Ligue 1, German Bundesliga, Norwegian Elite Serien, Italian Serie A, and Spanish La Liga. Had we stuck with just those leagues last Saturday and Sunday, we'd have got out of it with a profit on both occasions. So bear that in mind. You're going to get better trading candidates in the elite leagues and a better strike rate. Have a great day. I'll see you all a bit later on. And do watch out at footballtradingprofits.com for the Premier League reports. I've already done one, Liverpool and Everton. There will be others to follow today for you on the Premier League and some major European football as well from our elite friends. All thanks to the AI studio there. Have a great day, and I'll see you throughout the day, and I'll see you for a live stream at 2:30 p.m. on youtube.com/@footballtradingprofits.